This is the Velotric Discover 2, a newly released model that is unlike any other electric bike out there. Today we're taking a sponsored look at all of those differences, so that I can tell you why this e-bike is just so unique, and why that really matters. If you just look at the spec sheet of an e-bike, which is what most people do, you don't quite get the full picture. Sure, the Discover 2's specs are impressive. It's a Class 3 e-bike, it can hit 28 miles per hour, it's got a long range of up to 75 miles, includes a torque sensor and punchy hydraulic brakes and full LED lighting with brake lights and turn signals, etc. But if you really want to know that you're getting a good e-bike, you've got to look deeper. I've been riding the Discover 2 for several weeks now, and I've been putting a few of my friends on the bike as well to get their opinions from casual and new riders. So now, let's take a deep dive into what makes this e-bike so different, and why that matters so much. First of all, let's talk UL certification, since this is increasingly important these days. That battery pack is UL certified, not just third-party certified. That means UL actually tested and passed the battery itself, ensuring the highest level of safety. In fact, the entire bike's drivetrain is UL certified as well, meaning that all of the components such as the motor, battery, controller, charger, wiring, and other important bits all get the top level of certification. With more cities and states considering or already passing bans on non-UL certified e-bikes, this is the gold standard that is becoming increasingly critical for e-bike safety. Next, check out that proprietary drive system. This is not some off-the-shelf set of parts. Velotric designs their own motor, their own frames, and their own parts for the most part. Sure, some things like those punchy hydraulic disc brakes are off the shelf. Velotric doesn't make their own brakes or tires or those types of things. But the bike itself and its drive system are developed in-house by Velotric and are covered by 42 utility patents and counting, plus several more design patents and software copyrights. Unlike other companies that just choose their frame from a catalog and slap on whatever motor and drive system fits their budget, Velotric's in-house designed and manufactured solution prioritizes performance and longevity over mere convenience and cost cutting. It also means that they can substantially reduce their supply chain time from an industry average of around 150 to 180 days all the way down to just 85 days for Velotric. And with 500 partner stores around the country, you're basically getting a better bike, built more efficiently, and in the location you actually want it so you can test ride these things. That is a major difference. Speaking of that frame, when you see as many as we do, you notice the smaller details more. For example, the welds here are just much nicer than your typical stack of nickels and are hand finished for that smooth look. That also results in a higher quality weld, lower stress risers, and a generally better overall final product. It's also just an indication of whether or not a company goes the extra mile or cheaps out on a quick and dirty weld job. In this case, the extra mile isn't even considered extra, it's just part of how Velotric builds their bikes to a higher standard. Plus, that attention to quality manufacturing is probably part of how Velotric can offer a 2-year warranty when most other companies offer half of that. And to top it all off, that frame comes in 2 different sizes to better fit shorter and taller riders, plus the bike itself has several adjustment points to dial in the fit even better. And while we're talking about standards, consider the fact that Velotric also tests its bikes to literally a higher standard. While ISO 4210 is the main bike testing standard, most companies stop there. But Velotric actually tests to 150% of that standard, essentially turning a torture test into an even more torturous test. Again, it's just another indication that the company seems to go above and beyond, not just paying lip service to building a rugged bike, but actually pushing itself further to prove that Velotric bikes are built better than others and last longer because they have more intense testing data to prove it. Now let's look at something a bit more visual, in this case the battery handle. Velotric adds a hidden, fold-out handle into its batteries to make them easier to carry. It might sound like a small feature, and it is, but it makes a big difference in safety when you're not trying to muscle around a heavy battery by gripping it like a 2-liter soda bottle hot potato. With a convenient carry handle, This is about more than mere comfort, it's about carrying the most important part of an e-bike safely. And when we're talking about safety regarding the battery, one other huge consideration is just how waterproof it is. That battery has IPX7 water resistance, meaning it can be submerged in up to 3 feet of water, which is kind of wild when you think about it. You can even run the battery through your washing machine, though I'm not sure why you'd ever want to. But hey, it's now an option, believe it or not. The rest of the bike is IPX6 rated, meaning you can even pressure wash it with high power water jets. Other e-bike companies specifically tell you not to pressure wash their bikes since it can get into the electronics and damage them. But Velotric uses higher quality waterproofing on their bikes, and they basically tell you to go nuts since the bike is waterproof and can take it. And if it's okay to dunk it or pressure wash it, then you've got some serious peace of mind knowing you won't have any problems if you're simply caught in the rain. The Discover 2 also features a much better pedaling experience due to the combination of a torque sensor and significantly more pedal assist levels. There's your typical 1 through 5 pedal assist levels, but there's also 3 more profiles for each, giving you eco, trail, and boost levels. That's 15 different settings to find the perfect amount and style of assist for you. And with that included torque sensor instead of just a cadence sensor, you're of course getting ultra responsive and natural feeling pedal assist that isn't all jumpy or lurchy. It just feels intuitive, the way you'd expect a normal bike to feel, at least if you were riding a normal bike with the legs of a pro rider. Of course, there's also a throttle for when you don't feel like pedaling, and there's even cruise control for when you don't even feel like holding the throttle. You can just fly along feeling free. And if you're going to be riding more often, which, let's face it, with a bike like this you probably are, you're going to want some quality suspension underneath you. That's an 80mm travel fork that uses true hydraulic suspension, not just some cheap spring fork that doesn't really absorb bumps. This is what you want if you actually ride on streets with bricks, potholes, or have plenty of speed bumps along your path. Performance is of course critical on an e-bike, and it's one of the main ways e-bike shoppers quickly differentiate among various models. While many 750 watt e-bikes actually have 500 watt motors that only peak at 750 watts, the Velotric Discover 2 has a true 750 watt continuous rated motor, which means the peak power is closer to 1100 watts. That's some serious power when you put the bike in its stronger assist modes. And with 75 Newton meters of torque, more than most e-bikes out there, that translates into some powerful acceleration and hill climbing, another key differentiator among the sea of bikes out there. Velotric even says that the Discover 2 is capable of towing up to 400 kilos or 880 pounds, which is probably more than most of us will ever need to tow, but if you want to go nuts, the bike will have the power to do it. And last but not least, the Velotric Discover 2, along with many of the company's other e-bikes, has Apple Find My integration, meaning you can track the bike's location in real time by piggybacking off of the world's largest connected device tracking network. The hardest part of recovering an e-bike after a theft is simply knowing where it went, though there are other handy uses, such as if you forgot where the bike rack was that you parked at, or if you just want to check in on your bike while you're on vacation and make sure it hasn't walked itself out of your garage. It's nearly unheard of to find e-bikes with Apple Find My integration at this price point, which is currently $1,699, though you can already take $60 off of that price right now by using the link and code in the description below this video. When you've got a bike that stands out this much from the competition, the only other way it can get even better is with a deal like that.